What is going on, guys? Anthony back here today with another video. In today's video, it's gonna be another story time. Now, before we get into the story time, I actually want to clear something up. I want to set a schedule for this channel. I want to post on certain days. I don't know the specific times yet, but I feel like I work better if there's a schedule laid out for me. So I definitely want to be posting on Mondays and Fridays, and I'm even thinking maybe on Wednesdays. But the Wednesdays, I don't know if I can guarantee that, but definitely Monday through Friday. The posting time would probably be after 3 to 3:30. I feel like that works best for me. I feel like that works best for a lot more people. And I just wanted to say that before we started. And let's get into today's storytime video. Now for today's storytime video, today's an interesting one. And I actually mentioned that this would be one of the stories in the very first video. And this is the one about my stalker. Yes, I had a proper stalker. One that you see in the movies and the TV shows. I'm not exaggerating. I had someone peeking through my windows, trying to get into my house late at night, harming some of my family members, leaving notes on their cars. Just a really crazy experience that I would like to share, because now that I think about it, some of it's actually kind of funny. And I know that's kind of weird because this man really harassed me and my mother for maybe 2-3 years straight. But I'm gonna let you guys know one specific story that happened between him and I, and one that I will probably never forget ever because it was that traumatizing. Okay, so let me give you some background on the story. So first off, this man, we called him just an old man. That's all we just called him as. It was nothing crazy. He was probably in the late 60s, going into his 70s. He was reaching that age, and he had a problem hearing. He was deaf, or as he said he was deaf. I believed he was kind of, can you be half deaf? I don't know, but he would play that deaf card a lot. He would, whenever we called the cops, he would say that he was deaf, and then the cops would just be like, yeah, we can't do anything about it because he's deaf. So I don't know why you're calling the cops. That's pretty much what they told us. So that's the person that keeps peeking through my windows, doing all this extra shit, etc., etc. And this man knew my schedule and my mother's schedule. So me and my mom at that time, obviously I was in school. I was maybe around in the 7th grade, and I would leave to school probably around 8. My mom would leave around the same time, around 8. We'd probably leave together sometimes. And he'd be waiting outside of our door just so he could see us leave, all right? And then he knew the time I came home because obviously I'm in school. I'm coming out a lot earlier than my mom. I'm coming out of school around like 3 o'clock. I probably get home almost to 3:30. And my mom would get home maybe around 7, 8, around that time. And so he would be waiting for me, and he would be waiting for my mom. But there was one time where I went to school. He was outside waiting, just looking at us. Sometimes he would follow us, but this time he didn't. Got to the car, everything was fine. Just honestly, it's a normal day. It's kind of fucked to say that's a normal day, but it is a normal day. And so I get back, and he's not there. He's not waiting for me. I don't see anyone in sight. And I'm so relieved. I'm so relieved that I don't have to worry about this man. I can never go through the front door. We always had to go through our back door. And I was like, do I want to go through the front door? And I was like, no, I'm not going to risk him probably watching through the blinds and then him coming out and doing something to me. So I went through the back. Now in my old apartment, there's one door. We were on the first floor. There's one door to get in. You have to go up these little steps, and then to the left is our door. And that door was broken. So that first door to get into the apartment completely, the lock, the knob was twisted and bent a certain way, to the point where you didn't need your key to get in. All you had to do was just twist it and you're in. And so I noticed that, and I'm like, I'm a little sketched out, obviously, because I have a stalker. So Of course I'm sketched out, but at the same time, I'm not paying no mind to it. I'm not like, oh, this is happening, maybe I should go through the front. I'm just, me being an idiot, I went through. And I go up the stairs, and I see this man waiting at my door. Now, keep in mind, we're still in like the staircase a little bit. So I get up the stairs, and my door's like right here. He's right here next to me. He can touch me, he's within distance of doing that. And I see him look at me, and I stood frozen. I was completely frozen. I didn't know what to do. I was like, I really thought I was gonna get hurt. I thought he was gonna do something to me. He looked at me and he slid a note right under our door. And then he started walking towards me. By walking towards me, I mean just he took a step and reached out his arms. I jumped from the top step all the way down, which is probably like 7 to 8 steps. I jumped down, got out of the door, ran around our whole apartment probably like 3 times. Why did I run around 3 times? Because I was convinced he was chasing me, and obviously I knew I was faster than him, and I was like, this man's following me. I have to lose him. I feel like he would just think right away that I'm gonna go straight to the front door. So I just kept running and running and running. I wasn't gonna look back. I wasn't gonna waste time doing that. And so I'm finally getting tired, all right? I have my book bag on still with all my heavy ass books that I didn't fucking use. And I'm running around my apartment 3 fucking times. I could be running it for no reason. I still don't know actually to this day if I ran it for no reason. I don't know if he was actually chasing me. And I decided to go through the front. Now the front, he wasn't there. And I thought I was in the clear, I was fine, right? I didn't physically see him in front of me. And then I realized he's waiting for me inside the apartment at my front door. Now with the front, it's the same situation as the back, except you have 3 doors, but one is you can just open to anyone. So you have that first door, then you have a second door to get into the building in general, right? This is where people press the buzzers so someone could buzz you in or anything like that. And then once you're in, you go to that apartment door and you're in the apartment, the actual apartment. And you need a key to get in that second door if you're not buzzed in. I notice that door is broken. It is broken, and I open it slightly, and there he is waiting for me at the front door. He knew I was gonna go through the front. He knew I didn't want any smoke in the back. He knew I wasn't about that. So what do I do again? I run, but instead of around the complex, I go over my friend's house who was just up the block, and I call him. I'm like, yo, can I go to your house? Please, please, please. And he's just like, yeah, sure, just okay, just whatever, just come over. And I go over his house and I explain to him the whole story, and he's telling me, dude, that's fucking crazy. I didn't know it was that serious because I have told people about it, but people kind of thought I was exaggerating, and people didn't think it was that big of a deal, which is kind of fucked up. But now he took it a lot more serious. He's like, you should call your mom, you should call your aunt, someone, to tell them what's happening and that you're just not home. So I call my mom. My mom is infuriated. She is beyond pissed. When she had that stuff happening to her, she would get mad, she would get annoyed, definitely, and it's definitely scary. But when it came down to me, she was not playing with that. And especially since he kept fucking with me, and this man would literally break the doors to get into the apartment just to get to our door, was just so mind-boggling. It was so fucked that this man went through all that trouble to not even get in the actual apartment, like in our actual, like where our beds are and our living room is, not just to get in the actual building. This man was obsessed with me and my mother to the point where he just wanted to be in the same building as us. So I call my mom, and my mom tells me to go to my aunt's house. Now I'm gonna explain this. I should have explained it earlier, but I just forgot now that I'm remembering it. So imagine one big building. This is our old apartment, and it splits into 3s. So when you go up these little stairs, there's A, B, and C, right? I lived in A, B is literally right here, and then C is obviously right here. He and my aunt lived in B, in the NB building, which is why he knows of us, because we would go over her apartment here and there. It's literally just 10 steps away, and he lived right across from her. So she tells me to go to my aunt's house. I'm still freaking out. I'm like, why are you telling me to go in this man's building? You know, who's to say that he's not back in that building anymore? And so I tell her, I'm like, I'm not going back. I'm not going back. I am not going back until you get home. She's like, okay, fine, I understand. And then I stood over my friend's house. My mom picked me up, and we go through the back door again. And I forget that he left a note, but it was just a regular post-it note that said his name and saying that he was gonna get married to my mom. And then it had her name in there. So it said his name is going to marry, and then my mom's name. And my mom was like, I am fucking done. My mom was just over it. Like, do you realize how fucked up that is? That's the note he slid under the fucking door. And she was just infuriated. She wanted to go bang on his door and just beat the fuck out of him. But, I mean, we were told multiple times, if we even lay a hand on this dude, it would be our fault. He would not be in trouble. No matter what he was doing to us, it did not matter, because the police have said it, and even our landlord said it, that just because he's deaf, they can't do anything about it. If he wasn't deaf, obviously they would handle the situations a little bit differently. So supposedly he's deaf, right? So nothing could come out of this. We get in trouble if we do something. He does something to us, he doesn't get in trouble. So we just sat down there in the living room, me and my mom. My mom was like, we have to leave. There's no other choice. You know, we have to leave this apartment. And the thing is, we didn't want to leave that apartment because that's home. That was our home since I was a baby. So, and obviously at that time our funds weren't, they just weren't there. She said it was gonna take a while. And so that's what had happened. We dealt with it for maybe another year. You know, I didn't move out of that apartment until the beginning of my freshman year. And then it was all done. We had left, and now we're in a completely different apartment. I have no idea where he is. He saw us move, but I have no idea where he is. I have no idea what he's doing. I have no idea if he still lives in that old apartment. I don't know. But even in this apartment, we still did certain things to make sure it wasn't gonna happen again. So we made sure we were on the second floor. This apartment, you need a special key. It's not just one of those keys you can print. It's like those fancy chip keys that you just put it. It's one of those fancy fucking keys that the only way you can get that fucking key is if you sign a contract and you fucking live here. That's the only way you're getting that key, and they only give you like 2. And so even till this day, he used to peek through our blinds. I always put the blinds down. It's just a habit now. He used to bang on our door late at night, trying to get in, twisting the doorknob. And so now I can't even hear. If someone knocks on the door, I flinch, and I hate when people knock on the door. But just little things like that still stick with me. But I just kind of, I think how funny it is now, because I went up the stairs and my man was just chilling, just looking at me like it was completely normal what he was doing. And to be honest, it was kind of normal, because we were dealing with him for so long that seeing shit like that was just so normal to us. And it was horrible now I'm thinking about it at the same time. But it's kind of funny, because he just stood there like, oh, so you're home. What are we going to do? That's all he was doing. And then the post-it note was just completely normal to him, but to us, it was kind of our final straw. So keep in mind, he's left us multiple notes. I said before in the beginning that he has left us notes. But he's kind of just left us notes that were just saying that, like, it just said his name. That's all it was. They just said his name on them. He wasn't almost like he was trying to claim us, almost like that we're his and he has his name on it. But this note was different. You know, he said he wanted to marry my mom, and this guy's crazy enough that, you know, he could have done something to my mom. And actually, he's done something to my aunt. He's actually punched my aunt in the face. And that's when we called the cops the first time. And that's, like I said, I told you, they didn't do anything because he's deaf. But now, we're here in our new apartment. Well, not new, I've been here since the beginning of high school. And I've been out of high school for maybe almost 2 years now. So, I have no idea where he is. That's fine with me. I don't care. I have heard nothing from him or about him. Yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed my story time about how my mother and I shared stalkers. Now, that's kind of fucked up. A lot of people bond with their mom in different ways, you know, maybe do certain activities. Nah, me and my mom bonded because we had the same stalker. So it's like the same thing. It's completely fine. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. And like I said before, Mondays and Fridays are definitely going to be days I will be posting. Wednesdays, I'm not too sure yet. I'm not going to promise on something that I may not be able to keep. But definitely, I will be trying for you guys 110%. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. And I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Peace out.